What's up, YouTube? It's November now, and Thanksgiving is approaching fast. Now, instead of doing a table runner or a table topper for our Thanksgiving table, today I'm going to make reversible placemats. Now, this is a really easy project that I think any basic sewer could do. Now, the things you're going to need to make these reversible placemats are 2 pieces of cotton fabric that measure 12.5 inches by 18.5 inches. Now, like I said, these are going to be reversible, so I chose this print here that I got at my Walmart. It has these orange little maple leaves on a red background, and I thought that would look great for fall and winter. And I also got this print at my Walmart with all these different leaves. There's ginkgo leaves, maple leaves, oak leaves. And I thought this would look great on the table for spring and summer. You're also going to need some interfacing. Today I'm going to use 2 pieces that measure 12 inches by 18 inches. Now, the reason I'm using 2 here, when I went to my local Walmart, I grabbed the Pellon 931 TD, which I thought was heavyweight, but as you can see here, I grabbed midweight. If you want to save yourself about half the ironing time, go ahead and get the heavyweight. Now, I'll be making 6 of these placemats, so I used 4 yards of the Pellon. Now, for my fabric, I used about 1 1/8 yards per fabric. Now, once Mother sees these made, I'm pretty sure she'll want some for Christmas too, so next time I might even try using that fusible fleece. That's my new favorite product right now, and I think if you just do 1 layer on one side of these, it'll make it nice and fluffy and cushiony, so you can go ahead and even quilt it if you wanted to. You're going to need your sewing machine with thread. Today I'm going to be using this caramely, kind of goldish color here. I think it would work well with both of these. And you're also going to need your ironing board and iron. So let's get started. First, I'll be taking one of my fabric pieces and I'm just going to turn it so the pretty side is facing down. Next, I'm going to take my Pellon here. And Pellon has a bumpy glue side and a soft side. We're going to put it bumpy side down. And if you remember correctly, we cut our fabric to 12.5 inches by 18.5 inches. And our Pellon 12 inches by 18 inches. So that's going to give us a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around here. And I don't necessarily want the extra thickness of the Pellon here in my seams, so that's why I cut it a little bit shorter. So you just want to kind of eyeball this and make sure you have about a 1/4 inch all the way around. Now you just want to follow the manufacturer's instructions on how to glue down your Pellon. I'm going to be using a pressing cloth here. And now I'm just going to lay my iron here, and I'm just going to let it set for 10 seconds. I have the steam on, and it's on silk wool. After 10 seconds, I'm going to pick up my iron. I'm going to move it over just a little bit, overlapping where I just was just a little bit, and count for 10 seconds. Now I'm going to continue to do that until the Pellon is stuck to my fabric. Alright guys, now I just like to take my iron, and I just go over it again really quickly. Just to make sure I have all my corners and edges glued down tight. Alright guys, I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but before the Pellon is glued down, you can kind of see the little glue dots from the back here. When I pull this back after ironing, if I can still see some glue dots, I'll go ahead and put my pressing cloth back down, grab my iron, and just set it there for another 10 seconds. Alright, so now that I have it glued on to my first piece of fabric, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to my second piece. I'm going to lay it with my pretty side facing down. The bumpy side of my interfacing facing down. I'm going to lay over my pressing cloth and iron. Now if you went ahead and got the heavyweight Pellon from the get-go, you could just go ahead and cut your ironing down in half and you would only need to iron your Pellon to one of the fabrics here. But since I got the medium weight, I'm going to iron it to both. So now that I have the Pellon ironed onto both of my fabrics, I'm going to take one and I'm going to lay it so the pretty side is facing up. Take my other fabric and I'm going to lay it so the pretty side is facing down. So now we just need to pin this together. So I'm going to leave about a 4-inch opening here on the side. Now it doesn't matter which side you choose. And then I'm going to pin the rest of the way around. When I have it all pinned together, I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving my 4-inch opening. Don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and the end. Alright guys, so today I'll be using a straight stitch, and my length is at a 2. I'm going to backstitch right here in the beginning. Remove my pin. And with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving my opening. When I get about a 1/4 inch away from my side here, I can go a little bit farther. Right about there is good. I'm going to stop with my needle down, raise my presser foot, and spin. And then just keep sewing. Alright guys, I'm coming up here to my end, so you just want to make sure you backstitch and leave your opening. Alright guys, so I have this all sewed around, leaving my opening. Now you just want to grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to clip the corners here. So to do that, I'm just going to take my scissors, cut my corner just like that. Now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to cut off a little bit more of the fabric on the sides. Just like that. That's really going to help me get a nice sharp corner. So I'm going to do that to every corner. After you clip your corners, just turn it right side out. Now I'll be using my trusty bone folder to make my corners nice and sharp. Now I'm just going to take this chopstick or a stuffing stick, and I'm just going to go down all the seams. I want this to lay nice and flat. Now I'm just going to take my iron again, and I'm going to give this a nice press. When I get to my little corner here, I'm just going to tuck in the raw edges. Make sure all my edges match, and I'm going to go ahead and just stick a pin in there. Be careful not to hit the head of the pin with your iron, because that is plastic. And then just give it a good press. Now that I have it pressed nice and flat, I'm going to take this back over to my sewing machine using that straight stitch, and I'm going to top stitch all the way around, making sure I close my little gap here. I'll be using an 1/8 inch seam allowance, but if you're comfortable with it, you could do a little smaller. And as always, don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and the end. Alright guys, so I'm back over at my sewing machine, and now I'm just going to top stitch our placemat. My length is still a 2, and I'm still using a straight stitch, but this time I'll be using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end. And just keep sewing. I'm coming up on my corner, and this time I'm going to stop 1/8 of an inch away from the side here. That should be good right there. Leave my needle down, raise my presser foot, and spin. And continue sewing. Alright guys, so I top stitched all the way around here, and our placemat is done. Here's the front, and here is the back. If you want, you could put a low loft batting in here, and at this point you could go ahead and quilt this. But I think I'm just going to keep them just like this, nice and simple. Now I have 5 more of these to make, so I'll show you what they look like on our dining room table. Alright guys, so here's what the red side looks like of the finished placemats. And I think this will look great for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Now here's what the green side looks like, and I think it's my favorite side of all. I think these will look great for summer and also spring, when everything starts turning green. Or if you want, you could just mix and match them. This project is really fast and easy to sew up. Besides all that ironing, the sewing was a breeze. I hope you give this quick project a try. If you like this project and want to see more of my projects, go down below and hit the big red subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. If you have a question about this video or any of my other videos, or would just like to leave a suggestion for a future upcoming video, leave me a comment. Feel free to share this video across your social medias. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.